Baldwin rehearses drawing the gun from a holster a few times, and then he says, "So I guess I'm gonna take it out, pull it, and go bang." Action! He draws the Colt 45, there's a loud bang! Is Alec Baldwin going to prison? Hollywood movie star Alec Baldwin killed Halyna Hutchins. She's dead. He did it. He's been charged with manslaughter, but is he going to prison? If someone dies, even in an accident, shouldn't there be consequences? Should Alec Baldwin be allowed to kill someone and get away with it? I'm a solicitor. I'm going to tell you what I think. It's time to lawyer up. Let's get legal. So what do we know? What are the facts? What's the evidence? It's the 21st of October, 2021. Alec Baldwin is shooting a cowboy movie called Rust. It's a low-budget $6 million Western. He's one of the producers of the movie. He's the star. It's the 12th day of shooting. This is a rehearsal, a gunfight in the church at the Bonanza Creek Ranch, Bonanza City in New Mexico. You know this place. You've seen it in a ton of films. Baldwin's character is in a church. The bad guys have been distracted. In this scene, all he's got to do is pull the gun and point. The script doesn't say shoot. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is the armourer. It's her job to look after all the weapons on the set. She takes 3 guns from a locked safe and places them on a cart. 1 gun is plastic, 1 can't fire. The 3rd is a Colt 45. Assistant Director David Halls hands Baldwin the gun and says, "Cold gun," meaning the gun is empty, but he's wrong. Neither Baldwin nor Halls have checked the gun. There's 4 rounds in it. Nobody noticed that 1 round is live. Baldwin pulls the gun from his holster. Halyna tells him where to point it, left a bit, right a bit. He's pointing right at her. B camera operator Russell Reed is on the dolly looking at the monitor. He's with Halyna Hutchins and the director Joel Souza. They're only 2 feet from the muzzle of the gun. No one is wearing any protective gear. No noise cancelling headphones, no safety goggles, no bulletproof plexiglass to protect them if something goes wrong. The camera isn't recording. Baldwin rehearses drawing the gun from a holster a few times, and then he says, "So I guess I'm gonna take it out, pull it, and go bang." Action! He draws the Colt 45, there's a loud bang! The set fills with smoke. The bullet hits Hutchins in the chest and goes straight through her and lodges in Joel Souza's shoulder. Halyna says, "That was no good. That was no good at all." Blood pours from her chest and she falls into the arms of director Joel Souza. He collapses and screams in agony. Baldwin says, "What the fuck just happened?" Script supervisor Mamie Mitchell calls 911 at 1346.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
We need an ambulance out at Bonanza Creek Ranch right now. We've got 2 people shot on a movie set accidentally.
I'll connect you with medical dispatcher, don't hang up.
Police and ambulance crews arrive minutes later. Joel Souza is treated at the scene and spends the night in hospital. He survived. The bullet was recovered from his shoulder and it was a live round. Hutchins is flown by helicopter to the University of New Mexico Hospital in Albuquerque. On arrival, she's pronounced dead. Halyna Hutchins was only 42, a wife and a mother with a 9-year-old son called Andros. Same age as my little boy. This is just horrible. It shouldn't have happened. She was a talented cinematographer, a beautiful soul. Her death was a tragic accident. Why are there live rounds on a movie set? How did they get into a gun? Who did it and who's to blame? At the trial, there will be a gun expert giving evidence. I can tell you what he will say. It's easy to spot a live round. Dummy rounds have a dimpled primer on the bottom. Live rounds don't. Anyone who bothered to look would have seen the live round in the chamber of the gun. You can hear the difference too. Just shake it. Dummy rounds rattle. Live ammo is silent. Baldwin, Halls and Gutierrez-Reed should have looked. They should have listened. It wasn't too much to ask. They didn't bother and a beautiful woman died. It's a hell of a thing, killing a woman. You take everything she's got and everything she's ever gonna have. So, We have three people in the frame for an accidental death. Baldwin, who pulled the trigger, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the armourer, and David Halls, the first assistant director, the guy who said cold gun. There were complaints on other movie sets about Halls. He was fired from the filming of Freedom's Path after a firearm discharged unexpectedly on a set, wounding a crew member. But Halls has not been charged. He's already pleaded guilty to negligent use of a deadly weapon. He got a suspended sentence and 6 months probation. Halls admitted he didn't check the gun. That's not good for Alec Baldwin, who, after all, was his boss. Halls now has immunity, and he'll give evidence at the trial with no further fear of prosecution. Halls has true grit in my mind. He was big enough to admit he screwed up. But lonely are the brave. That leaves Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed, who are both charged with involuntary manslaughter. If found guilty, they face up to 18 months in prison. 24-year-old Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is the daughter of Fel Reed, an industry legend. He was a fast draw champion. He once said he could draw and kill Billy the Kid while he started a blink. He was Evel Knievel's bodyguard and his official drinking buddy. Fel Reed has a huge amount of industry experience. He trained everyone from Russell Crowe to Brad Pitt and Steve McQueen to Leonardo DiCaprio. He trained his daughter too.
She didn't need more training with, she's got me.
But this is no country for old men. Did he train her well enough? Hannah Gutierrez-Reed has been around movie sets and guns her whole life. Did she screw up? Was she the wild bunch? Her dad has lots of experience, but she doesn't. This was only her second movie as lead armourer. Her first film was Nicolas Cage's first Western, The Old Way, and that didn't go well. The crew on that movie said she discharged a weapon on set without warning. Nicolas Cage, no stranger to guns in movies, was so unimpressed he walked out.
I do check the dummies. I check all of them, and they all showed that they were not hot. Real bullets pretty much look the same as dummies. The only difference is the rattle.
Her attorney, Jason Bowles, says his client had no idea where the live rounds came from and that she wasn't in the church at the time. But why wasn't the armourer on set? She should have been. Was she Calamity James? So that leaves Alec Baldwin. He was interviewed by the Santa Fe County Sheriff. He gave a TV interview. He said he didn't know the gun was loaded. He said he didn't pull the trigger.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never.
The FBI and every gun expert on the internet called BS on that one. At trial, Baldwin will say he trusted the crew. They handed him a gun. He heard the words cold gun. He believed it was safe. It's not his fault. There was nothing more he could do. Baldwin will argue that sure, he was a producer, but his role was creative, not the day-to-day running of the set. George Clooney has called him out. Clooney says actors should always check a gun is safe. No excuses, check it safe and then check again every single time.
Why, for the life of me, this low-budget film with producers who haven't produced anything wouldn't have hired for the armor someone with experience, but they had live ammo with dummies in her pack. And that is insane.
Clooney says he's never heard the phrase cold gun ever used on a film set. This could be an all-American Hollywood star-spangled, star-studded trial if even a handful of A-list movie stars give evidence against Baldwin. Then he's toast and he's going down. He's up against Robert Schilling, the special investigator for the district attorney's office. He accuses Baldwin of not receiving sufficient firearms training, of failing to deal with safety complaints, of putting his finger on the trigger of a real firearm, of pointing that weapon at the cinematographer and the director, of pulling the trigger. Schilling says Baldwin was reckless. His deviation from the usual standards and practice and protocols directly caused the fatal shooting. There is a fourth suspect. Gutierrez-Reed hired former assistant US attorney Jason Bowles as her lawyer. Bowles went full-on Perry Mason, claiming sabotage. His client, he says, is being framed.
Sabotage is the most likely probability.
The Santa Fe County District Attorney says there's no evidence of sabotage, but it's not a completely outlandish theory. On the day of the incident, 7 union members staged a walkout. According to a statement given to the Wrap by an anonymous insider, they weren't exactly the Magnificent Seven. They took a number of the prop guns, including the Colt 45. At lunch, they shot beer cans with live ammunition. After lunch, the guns were returned. Did anyone check the guns and the ammo? Was there a man with no name who carelessly threw ammo in with the dummies? Did he put it in the gun? Baldwin will no doubt raise this in court, but will that be enough gun smoke to avoid prison? There was no name on the bullet. There's been a great deal of public finger pointing. Gutierrez, Reed and Alec Baldwin have been quick on the draw to blame each other. All movies are a bit chaotic. There's always time and money pressure and long hours. This one was no different. The crew voted to strike over low pay, late pay, poor conditions, crappy hotels and worries about safety, including allegations that firearms safety protocols were not followed. There have been accusations of drinking and of guns going off accidentally. And of course, this is America, so everyone sues everybody, the good, the bad and the ugly, for a fistful of dollars. The gaffer, Serge Svetnoy, is suing the production company for negligence. Script supervisor Mamie Mitchell is suing the production, saying the script didn't call for the discharge of a firearm. Gutierrez Reed is suing Seth Kenny, the owner of PDQ Arms and Props, the company that supplied the guns and ammo, for allegedly bringing the live rounds onto the set. Medic Sherilyn Schaefer is suing the production and several crew members for negligence. Halyna Hutchins' family are suing Baldwin, Halls, Gutierrez Reed, the prop master Sarah Zachary and others for wrongful death. One of those cases has already been settled. The production company paid the Hutchins family an undisclosed sum. That's not good for Alec Baldwin. In effect, he's already admitted wrongdoing, albeit in a civil case. Weirdly, as part of the settlement, Matthew Hutchins, Halyna's husband of 16 years, has now become an executive producer of the film. Apparently everybody wants to finish the film as a tribute to Halyna. I suspect there will be more cases after the trial. If there's a conviction, the insurance companies will refuse to pay and everyone will pile in again for a few dollars more. Lawsuits at the OK Corral. The state of New Mexico fined the production company Rust Movie Productions $137,000 for ignoring firearms safety regulations. That's not good for Baldwin. He's a producer on a movie that failed to have a process for preventing live ammunition from getting onto the set. This isn't a murder case. This was an accident. For a conviction, the jury will be the searchers. They will decide if Baldwin acted without due care and circumspection. So, is Alec Baldwin going to prison? Will he be unforgiven? I don't think so. I'm a criminal lawyer. In my experience, there are 3 defenses: innocence, lack of evidence, and fame. Celebrities often get away with it. Juries, for whatever reason, are very often very kind to famous people. But Gutierrez Reed certainly is in trouble. The jury will want to blame someone for the death of that beautiful, talented lady. If it's not Baldwin, it's her. Alec Baldwin has called on the industry to ban real guns and real ammo from movie sets, and that has to be the right thing to do. But the real villain here is Hollywood. Accidents and even deaths on set have been way too common. There is no reason in this age of CGI and airsoft perfect replicas to ever use a real gun or a real bullet in a movie. It's just asking for trouble. To misquote a movie, it was the Hollywood beast that killed beauty.